I'm so angry that this happened to an innocent person. And he just about to leave my best friend away from me.
Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office says 22-year-old Alishah Pointer died from multiple gunshot wounds. The East Cleveland woman's body was found in a burned-out home in East Cleveland last week.
The phone rings just after midnight. FaceTime. Her number. He answers, expecting to see Alishah, maybe an explanation for why she went silent hours ago. Instead, he sees her face, tears streaming. But she's not the one holding the phone. Someone else has it, angled just enough so he can see her crying, but not who's behind the camera. Then a voice, cold, direct. Turn yourself in to the police. The call ends. He's confused, terrified. He hasn't done anything. He wasn't even with her. He calls her twin sister immediately and tells her to go to the cops, right now. But here's the thing. Alishah didn't know anything either. She was grabbed because someone assumed she did. What happens when 6 people decide you're guilty without proof? When rage doesn't wait for facts? This is Domestic Crime Ledger. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? Alishah Pointer was 21 years old in November of 2021. She worked as a caregiver, nursing homes during the day, daycares when she could pick up shifts. She helped elderly residents who couldn't feed themselves and watched over kids whose parents were working double shifts. Outside of work, she was enrolled in an IT certification program. She had plans, a journal where she wrote down goals, dreams of starting her own online clothing business. She lived in Cleveland, Ohio in a tight-knit family. Her twin sister Aliyah was 8 months pregnant at the time, and Alishah was over the moon about becoming an aunt. She checked on Aliyah constantly, texted her throughout the day, made sure she had everything she needed. And the two of them were close in the way twins often are, always in contact, always aware of each other. Alishah also had a boyfriend, and in early November, that boyfriend became a person of interest in a homicide investigation. Here's the problem. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. No connection to the victim, no motive, no involvement. Cleveland police questioned him and cleared him within days. But the people looking for someone to blame? They didn't wait for that clearance. They couldn't find him. So they went after her. 6 people, a car, 2 guns, and a plan that hinged on one dangerous assumption, that Alishah Pointer knew something. She didn't. So why would grief push 6 people to hunt down an innocent woman? Why would they torture her for information she never had? And what makes someone decide that revenge matters more than the truth? That's where this story starts to fall apart. November 2nd, 2021. Slavic Village, Cleveland. 19-year-old Amin J. Asho was shot and killed. His girlfriend, Brittany Smith, was pregnant with his child. The loss hit hard. Family and friends wanted answers. They wanted someone held accountable. One of Amin's relatives was an 18-year-old named Hakeem Ali Shomo. When Cleveland police started investigating the shooting, they began questioning people, rounding up anyone who might have information, anyone who might have been involved. That's when Alishah's boyfriend got pulled into it. He didn't know Amin, had never met him, wasn't anywhere near Slavic Village that day. There was no connection, no reason for him to be on anyone's radar. And investigators figured that out quickly. Within days, they cleared him completely. He had nothing to do with Amin's death. But Hakeem and the people around him? They didn't care about what the police found. They didn't wait for official answers. They wanted someone now. And when they couldn't locate Alishah's boyfriend, they made a decision. If we can't get to him, we'll get to someone close to him. That someone was Alishah. On November 4th, 2021, 4 people got into a car. Portria Williams, 30 years old. Destiny Henderson, just 17. Nathaniel Polk, Jr., 22. And Hakeem Ali Shomo, 18. Two of them were armed. They drove to a residential area near Glenmont Road and Superior Road in East Cleveland. It was evening. Two women were sitting outside in a driveway. Destiny and Hakeem got out of the car, guns drawn. They forced both women into separate vehicles at gunpoint. One of the women was released fairly quickly. The other woman, referred to in court documents only as Turquoise, was kept. And there was a reason for that. Turquoise knew Alishah personally. They drove her to Alishah's home, told her exactly what to do. Get Alishah to come outside. Make it seem normal. Don't raise any alarms. Turquoise did what they told her. Alishah came out. She trusted her. She had no reason not to. The moment she stepped outside, they grabbed her, forced her into the vehicle. No struggle that neighbors noticed. No screams loud enough to draw attention. No one called 911. No one tried to intervene. Alishah was gone. And here's the thing. If you were Turquoise in that moment, with a gun pointed at you, on being told to lure someone you know outside or else, what would you have done? Let me know in the comments below. Because what happened next didn't start with questions. It didn't start with someone calmly asking Alishah where her boyfriend was. It started with assumptions, with rage that had nowhere to go, with 6 people who decided that close enough was good enough. And Alishah Pointer, who had nothing to do with Amin's death, who didn't even know him, was about to pay the price for someone else's grief. They drove Alishah to Portria Williams' home. That's where they held her. Overnight. No way out. No phone. No help coming. Turquoise was kept in the same room at first. She heard everything. The interrogation started almost immediately. They demanded answers about Alishah's boyfriend. Where is he? What does he know? What happened to Amin? Alishah kept telling them the same thing. She didn't know. She had no information. Her boyfriend wasn't involved. She wasn't involved. But they didn't believe her, or maybe they just didn't care. Hours passed. The questions kept coming. The tone got sharper. The threats got worse. Then 2 more people showed up at the house. Brittany Smith, pregnant with Amin's child, grieving, angry, looking for someone to blame, and Anthony Bryant, 18 years old, a high school senior. He was supposed to graduate in December, weeks away from finishing school and moving on with his life. Instead, he walked into that house and stayed. At some point, Nathaniel Polk left. But the others didn't. Brittany, Anthony, Portria, Destiny, and Hakeem all remained. Not one of them walked away. Not one of them said this has gone too far. And not one of them called the police or tried to let her go. What happened inside that house over the next several hours is documented in court records. Alishah was burned, beaten. At one point, a gun was forced into her throat. She kept insisting she didn't know anything, because she didn't. But to the people in that room, it didn't matter. They had already decided she was guilty by association, that she had to know something, that making her suffer would somehow lead to answers. It wouldn't, because there were no answers to give. Alishah Pointer was a caregiver. She worked with elderly people and children. She was studying IT. She kept a journal full of goals. She was excited about becoming an aunt. And now she was being tortured in a stranger's house for information she never had. The worst part? While all of this was happening, her family had no idea she was even missing yet. Her twin sister Aliyah was at home, waiting for a text back, wondering why Alishah wasn't answering her phone. Her mother Erica had no clue her daughter had been taken. No missing person report had been filed. No search had started. No one was looking for her. Because as far as her family knew, Alishah was just out. Maybe with friends. Maybe running errands. Maybe she'd text back soon. They had no idea that in a house across town, 6 people were deciding her fate. 1:40 a.m., November 5th, 2021. It was Alishah and Aliyah's birthday. They were turning 22. Aliyah received a text from Alishah. Something about bringing her food. Normal sister stuff. Nothing that raised any red flags. Aliyah waited. No show. She texted back. No reply. She called. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Still nothing. Hours passed. Aliyah started reaching out to family members, trying to figure out if anyone had heard from her twin. Their younger sister mentioned something strange. She said Alishah had told her earlier that her boyfriend left her stranded somewhere, in the middle of nowhere. That didn't make sense to Aliyah, so she called the boyfriend directly. Confronted him about it. He was confused, said he hadn't been with Alishah, hadn't left her anywhere, had no idea what she was talking about. They were still on the phone trying to piece it together when his phone buzzed. FaceTime call, Alishah's number. He answered, and there she was, on screen, crying, but she wasn't holding the phone, someone else was. The camera was angled so he could see her face, but not who was behind it. And then a voice, calm, cold. Turn yourself in to the police. The call ended. He didn't hesitate. He told Aliyah right then and there, go to the cops, now. Aliyah and her mother Erica went to the police station and filed a missing person report. They explained what happened, the text, the unanswered calls, the FaceTime call with someone else holding the phone, the demand for him to turn himself in. But the police didn't take it seriously. Not yet. Maybe they thought it was a misunderstanding. Maybe they figured she'd turn up in a few hours. Maybe they didn't realize how urgent it was. Whatever the reason, no immediate action was taken. No search launched. No alerts sent out. And while the family waited for someone to help them, Alishah was still being held, still being hurt, still insisting she didn't know anything. On November 5th came and went, their birthday, a day that should have been filled with celebration. Cake, laughter, plans for the future. Instead, Aliyah spent it terrified, calling everyone she could think of, checking her phone every few minutes, hoping for a message that never came. And Alishah? She spent it in hell. November 5th passed, their shared birthday. No word from Alishah, no updates from investigators. Just silence. Then November 6th arrived. A photo came through. Alishah, bound, vulnerable. The image was sent with a message. Turn yourself in within an hour, or she gets hurt. The family didn't waste time. And they took the photo straight to the police, showed them the threat, showed them proof that this wasn't just a misunderstanding or someone running off for a few days. Now the police listened. Investigators started moving. They began pulling people in for questioning. Anyone connected to Alishah, anyone connected to her boyfriend, anyone who might know something about Amin's death or the people looking for revenge. But the leads went cold. No one was talking. No one knew where she was, or if they did, they weren't saying. Days passed. The family waited, hoped, prayed she was still alive somewhere. Then on November 9th, 2021, an anonymous tip came in. Someone called about an abandoned house on Savannah Avenue in East Cleveland. East Cleveland Police Department responded. The FBI joined them. They searched the property. Checked the main floor. Nothing. Moved to the back. Still nothing. Then they went down to the basement. That's where they found Alishah. She had been there for days. The Cuyahoga County medical examiner later confirmed she died from multiple gunshot wounds, blunt force trauma, burns. She was 21 years old, taken on her birthday, found 4 days later in the basement of a burned-out house. Her family had been right to panic, right to push the police, right to feel like time was running out. But by the time anyone found her, it was already too late. Now here's a question for you. Who's more responsible in a case like this? The ones who pulled the trigger or the ones who stood by and did nothing? Option A or option B? Defend your answer in the comments, because 6 people were involved in what happened to Alishah. 6 people played a role in her kidnapping, her torture, her death. And when the arrest started, 5 of them were taken into custody quickly. But one of them tried to run. Court testimony and records later revealed exactly what happened after they held Alishah at Portria's house. At some point, Hakeem Alishomo left, but the others stayed. Destiny Henderson, Brittany Smith, Portria Williams, and Anthony Bryant forced Alishah into a car. They drove her across East Cleveland to an abandoned house near Savannah Avenue and Manhattan Avenue. The house was burned out, boarded up. No one lived there. No one was watching. They forced her inside, down into the basement. And that's where it ended. Portria Williams fired. Anthony Bryant fired. Destiny Henderson tried to shoot, but her gun jammed. They left her there, drove away, but went to Hakeem's house. 4 days later, on November 9th, authorities found her body in that basement. Alishah Pointer had been tortured for hours, interrogated about things she had no knowledge of, then executed in the basement of an abandoned house and left to be found days later. She never had the answers they wanted, because there were no answers to give. Her boyfriend wasn't involved in Amin's death. She wasn't involved in Amin's death. The police had already cleared him. But none of that mattered to the 6 people who decided she was guilty anyway. And here's the part that makes this even worse. Alishah had helped Brittany Smith before. According to family members, Alishah had given Brittany support when she needed it, offered her comfort, even helped her with her business. Brittany knew who Alishah was, knew the kind of person she was, knew she wasn't the type to be involved in violence or crime. But when Brittany walked into that house and saw Alishah being beaten and burned, she didn't stop it. She didn't walk away. She didn't call for help. She stayed. And when it came time to take Alishah to that abandoned house, Brittany went along. She was there when the shots were fired. She was there when they left Alishah's body in the basement. She was there when they drove away like nothing had happened. Alishah had shown her kindness, and Brittany repaid that with silence. Not one of the 6 people involved tried to save her. Not one of them said, "This has gone too far." And not one of them chose mercy over revenge. They all played a role. Some pulled triggers. Some held her down. Some just watched. But they all left her there to die. All 6 suspects were arrested. Portria Williams, Destiny Henderson, Nathaniel Polk Jr., Hakeem Alishomo, Brittany Smith, and Anthony Bryant. They were brought before a judge on November 19, 2021. Each of them faced a bond of $2 million. Each of them pleaded not guilty. For over a year, the case moved slowly through the system. Then, in December of 2022, something shifted. Destiny Henderson and Nathaniel Polk Jr. flipped. They both pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter, kidnapping, and conspiracy, and they agreed to testify against the others. That was a major break for prosecutors. 2 of the 6 were now cooperating. They're ready to tell the court exactly what happened inside that house, exactly who did what. In March of 2023, the trial began for the remaining defendants. Anthony Bryant, Brittany Smith, and Hakeem Alishomo all faced murder charges. The prosecution laid out their case. Witnesses testified. Evidence was presented. The families on both sides filled the courtroom. Then the trial was declared a mistrial. The defense attorneys claimed the judge had communicated with prosecutors without including them in those conversations. They argued it was a procedural error. Some even suggested the judge intentionally caused the mistrial. The defense pushed hard for dismissal. They argued double jeopardy, said their clients couldn't be tried again for the same crime. A new judge was assigned to hear the arguments, and the defense laid out their case for why the charges should be thrown out entirely. The judge denied it, ruled that the case would move forward. The defendants would face trial again. But here's the twist that changes everything. Nearly 4 years passed between Alishah's death and the final convictions. 4 years. 4 years of Aliyah waking up every November 5th without her twin. 4 years of their shared birthday being a reminder of the worst day of her life. 4 years of Alishah Pointer losing weight, losing her hair, losing the ability to feel like a mother because she couldn't protect her daughter. 4 years of a family stuck in November of 2021, reliving the same trauma, waiting for justice, wondering if it would ever come. The legal system moved slowly. Delays, mistrials, motions, appeals. But the grief? And that didn't wait. That didn't pause. That kept going every single day. And when sentencing finally came in January of 2026, the courtroom heard something most families never get the chance to say out loud. The truth, the pain, the cost of what those 6 people did. January 7th, 2026. The sentencing hearing. Alishah Pointer took the stand. She read her victim impact statement in front of the court, in front of the people who killed her twin. She talked about the PTSD, the panic attacks, the nightmares where Hakeem Ali Shomo is kidnapping her, the fear she feels in public because people recognize her, because they know what happened. She talked about her son and daughter, how they'll never know their aunt, how one day she'll have to sit them down and explain who Alishah was and why she's gone. And she talked about waking up sometimes and feeling like she can't breathe, like she's dying, and how it happens most when she's alone. She said losing her twin on their birthday turned every November 5th into a recurring nightmare. Then Alishah Pointer spoke, Alishah's mother. She told the court she lost 20 pounds after her daughter's death. All of her hair fell out. She said she didn't feel like she deserved to be honored on Mother's Day anymore, because mothers are supposed to protect their children, and she couldn't protect Alishah from what happened. She said she had to sit in that courtroom and see images and hear things no parent should ever have to. That 4 years later, she's still stuck in time. Alishah is still 21 to her. Alishah Pointer, Alishah's older sister, also spoke. She recalled a lesson from childhood. Her godmother once told her to be careful how you treat people. You never know if one of them is God's angel. She said that lesson stuck with her forever, made her watch how she judged others, how she treated them. And then she asked the court a question. How could they look at Alishah and not see that? How could 6 people spend hours with her and not recognize the kind of person she was? After the family finished speaking, it was the defendant's turn. Brittany Smith walked into the courtroom holding a Bible. She addressed the court, apologized, said emotions were running high after Amin's death, that things got out of control. She admitted her silence cost Alishah her life, that she could have saved her, but didn't. Hakeem Ali Shomo stayed silent, declined to speak. Anthony Bryant also remained silent, said nothing. The sentences came down fast after that. Hakeem Ali Shomo was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 36 to 41.5 years. Anthony Bryant received life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 17 to 22.5 years. Brittany Smith was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 41 to 45 years. Portria Williams received life in prison with the possibility of parole after 23 years. Destiny Henderson was sentenced to 25 to 30 years in prison. Nathaniel Polk Jr. was sentenced to 23 to 28 years. Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael C. O'Malley released a statement after the sentencing. He said, "Few murders reach the level of barbaric violence like the brutal murder of Alishah Pointer. Those responsible lack any sense of human decency or compassion. Each one of them deserves every day of their lengthy sentences." The abandoned house on Savannah Avenue where Alishah's body was found was eventually demolished. Family and friends gathered to watch it come down, to see the place where she died reduced to rubble. It didn't bring her back, but it was one less reminder standing in their neighborhood. 6 people are now behind bars. Some will never get out. Others won't be eligible for parole for decades. But for the Pointer family, no sentence will ever be enough. No amount of time will bring Alishah back. No apology will undo what was done. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We cover cases like this every week, and you don't want to miss what's next. Alishah Pointer was 21 years old. She worked with the elderly in nursing homes. She looked after children in daycares. She kept a journal where she wrote down her goals and dreams. She was enrolled in an IT certification program. She wanted to start her own online clothing business. She was excited to become an aunt. Her twin sister, Aliyah, was 8 months pregnant, and Alishah checked on her constantly. Made sure she had everything she needed. Shared in her excitement about the baby coming. Alishah had nothing to do with Amin J. Asho's death. Her boyfriend had nothing to do with it either. Cleveland police cleared him within days of questioning him, but 6 people decided that didn't matter. They decided close enough was good enough. That being connected to someone who might know something was reason enough to kidnap, torture, and kill. Grief doesn't justify torture. Rage doesn't justify execution. And assumptions don't justify taking someone's life. But that's exactly what happened. Aliyah still wakes up every November 5th without her twin. Their shared birthday is now the anniversary of the worst day of her life. She has 2 children now who will never meet their aunt, who will only know her through stories and photos. Alishah Pointer still can't celebrate Mother's Day the same way. She said it herself in court. Mothers are supposed to protect their children, and she couldn't protect Alishah from what happened. Alishah still wonders how anyone could look at her sister and not see the angel she was, on how 6 people could spend hours with her and not recognize her kindness, her innocence. The case took 4 years to resolve. Mistrials, delays, legal battles. But the pain? That started the moment Alishah was taken, and it will last a lifetime. Justice was served in the end. 6 people are behind bars. Some will never get out. Others won't see freedom for decades. But Alishah is still gone, and no sentence will ever change that. Sometimes the person who knows the least ends up paying the most, and the people who should have known better, they just kept going. If this story hit you, share it. Let's get people talking. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from Alishah's story, and if you want more deep dives into cases that matter, subscribe to Domestic Crime Ledger and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay safe out there.